Hey everyone. Greg, Jeppy, Bill, David, Stuart, Fridge, Dan Shed. There's an update from Dan Shed. On YouTube. You probably should check that out if you haven't already. Go and subscribe to his channel and he might put another one. Lots of potential there. You just got to persuade him. Jeppy, hey. Stuart Hingston, g'day. Rustanox, excellent video from Rustanox this week, as always. Always a good video from Rustanox, but pretty special one there and you should go and watch it. Go Create. Didn't see an update from Go Create, but you get that on the big jobs. Mark Osborne, g'day. Craig, did I see one from Craig? Was there an update from Craig? I'm not sure about that. There was one from Adventures with Very Small Lathe, one from Alistair. Should check that out. New project. That's awesome. Been promised stuff from Bill, so you should go and subscribe to his channel anyway. Just in case he starts making videos, but we've been promised. And I'd say he's got some pretty good content in there somewhere. There's Tom. No update from Tom, but I have it under authority that he's installing a baggy ceiling in the workshop, so at least when we do get a video, we won't get rain noise. There was a shop heater review from Matty's Workshop. Go and check that out. It's a pretty good video anyway. Everyone's got their price. Matty's is a shop heater, which is fair enough if you live in Eden. Is there one from Paul? Yeah, I think there's one from Paul. Craig's put a link up. Yeah, subscribe to Bill. You should do that. Just in case. You never know. So what's happened this week? Kind of got this laser cutter finished. No, not quite. Yeah, give him lots of subs. He's forced to make videos because, yeah, I reckon he's got some good content there, to be honest. It's going to be good watching. Yeah. Laser cut the thumbnail for this video last night, about 5 minutes. This thing's working not shabby, actually. It's got limitations. It's not really a heavy laser cutter. It's an engraver. But it will at a pinch laser cut material. Needs fine tuning a bit. This is 3mm plywood. It's struggling with that. So, but it cuts it. Not really what it was designed to do. But not a bad machine, really. My computer's decided to freeze. It's the trouble with doing stuff live on computers and things. We're just going to try it out and see if it runs. But Oh, that's all it was. Someone give me a phrase to write. There you go, Craig's up for it. Poor old computer. There we go. Not sure if that's actually going to work, but anyway. Kayleen, good day. I have it on some authority. Hey, Nigel. Some authority that there could be some really awesome lockdown videos from Kayleen in the next little while. So there you go. He's on a promise. I've let the cat out of the bag. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait. We still haven't fixed this yet. So I've got to do something with that. That's probably going to be bright. I'm not looking at it. Anyway, who else has turned up? Sorry. John Creasy, g'day. Who's not a redhead? Was it g'day? Can it remove your tattoos? Probably can. And come put your arm under it and see. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. The video is not in slow motion, it's just not a particularly high-powered machine. We'll come across here so you can actually see what's happening. There we go. Anyway, what else is happening? I worked Monday, which is in the middle of my weekend, which is a bit of a pain. So I didn't get a whole lot done. Anyone's wondering that was surprisingly easy to get lined up on that piece of cardboard. It's absolute fluke. KLM, pictures. Pictures doesn't happen, so we expect pictures. All those prison tats. So Sunday and Tuesday I spent mostly messing with the locomotive actually. Screws and bits and pieces are just small fiddly jobs. Not looking at the beam any more than you guys are. I don't know the life of a diode laser. Someone else might. I don't. We'll find out, I guess. There's dark glasses here everywhere too. We put some dark glasses in front of this lens and maybe you'll be able to see better. Ooh. There you go. It'll probably get air assessed at some point in the future before too long. It might be the next job once we get all the rest sorted out. There's still a few things. Yeah, I'm looking at it on the screen too. The screen's blocking it. So there you go. There you go. Can't see as much without that. Yeah, I think that's rust and ox. That's a fairly good sentiment that someone I know put out there, and really appreciate it. But awesome. Comes from an awesome channel that everyone should be subscribing to, and everyone should know the reference. If you don't, that's pretty slack. And I didn't put an exclamation mark, which is a bit poor. Anyway, it's sort of working. It still needs a bit of attention. Quite a lot of attention, actually. There's still a few bits to screw on. I would like to put a cover over this laser holder here, in orange perspex or whatever, to block out some laser light. That's going to happen pretty quick, I think. It needs the leg screwing on it. Definitely engraved wood. This is MDF. I'm not sure about glass. And we've only got an engrave, it's not really deep enough to fall out, but there you go. So it works. Let's go on a bit slow in cardboard and probably too many passes, but it's definitely, potentially, it sort of works. Good thing for gaskets, absolutely a good thing for gaskets. That was the purpose of it, and masks for some restoration jobs I want to do. So stencils and things like that, but we'll see how we go with it. It will get some use, and it's a fairly portable machine. We'll see how we go. Probably it'll cut vinyl, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, that's work in progress still. There's still stuff to go on it and stuff that needs fixing, but it works. Pretty happy with that at this point. Not sure if I've got the pulse width modulation or the PWM working with the laser or not. I need to test that. Really not sure. And speeds and feeds and things still need a lot of messing around with, and cutting the first job you cut out of a new material, you get all sorts of funny results. Should be able to cut and paste video with it, but I'm not sure how we go with that. Anyway, the other project here, right? This is what we're sort of messing with mostly, is this abomination here. Done 1,000 little jobs. Read the manual, yeah. Not sure it'd come with one, to be honest. Sorry about that. Anyway, this has got to the stage where all the little jobs take time. So the couple of days I've had this week, I've put these 2 steps on here, which I guess were important. Cut a hole in the top plate for the pump. That's the hand pump lever there. It's got to have an extension on it, but that goes there. That's got to go in there at some point. This has got to have a sheet in underneath it to hold this up so that this sits nice and flush here, all the way around. I've dropped that. It's probably bent. No. That sits nice and flush there, and that's going to hinge over backwards, I think, for the water filler. A lot of this hole is going to be blocked up. It's too light for drag engraving, absolutely. Uh, 1,000 screws still to go. Well, there's 20 or something screws to go in here. I'll show you. This isn't screwed down, thank goodness, yet. So all these holes are drilled and tapped through here now, and they all line up, I hope, with the holes in the bottom of the tank. That's the theory around the outside there. So hopefully we should be able to screw that down nicely and run some soft solder around it, and it shouldn't leak, and it should be nice and rigid and straight. This is a job and a half, really. There's a bit of work in this. This slope piece I put in here on Tuesday. That's what I spent most of Tuesday doing. I haven't cut any of these screws off because they're not going to be the screws that actually go in here. They're just screws I've got. These ones here are drilled and tapped. These ones here are drilled and tapped both ways. And these ones. So we've got a row on the outside there like that, which I'm not sure whether I'm going to leave or not. I'm probably going to file them off smooth. Which is a pity because they're nice and neat. Haven't quite got to the other side. Haven't got these ones in. These ones aren't drilled, aren't tapped yet. But it's all on there. And these ones aren't tapped yet. This does actually, it's got a gap there, but it does actually close up when you put some screws in it. It's just the weight of it holding, dropping it down there. So that's the water tank. There's still a lot of cleaning up and finishing off to go there, but that sits on here. There's got to be another water pickup here on the actual bed. Pump water pickups here. But there's got to be another pickup for the axle pumps and the injector. So that's still got to happen before we screw that down for good. These steps are riveted underneath. 3 little rivets in each one. There's, when this goes, this piece here, I guess, is probably just going to sit in here on a bracket on each end, something like that. Oops, sorry. That's the theory, just slot in there with a couple of screws in the top. I'm not sure. We might just screw it down that way and put a sort of a dummy angle around it to stiffen it up. Don't really want to fasten it this way because if you've got to take this lid off the tank at any point, this has got to come off too. So still thinking about that. Actually goes about there. Front here has probably a piece of brass, something like this, cut to an L shape in here. Yeah, there's a return line goes in there too. Drawings for which build in particular, Matt? Are you talking about the locomotive? No, they're not. If you're talking about the laser cutter, no, they're not. Locomotive, clear and easy to follow. We'll have a look at the drawings, but there's a lot left unsaid. There's a lot of details on this that aren't actually in the drawings of the book. So this LP shaped piece goes in here, and then there's another piece, this shape, with a piece bolted and folded on it, that goes in here like this, and that just sits in loose there, with a shelf there, and that's got a toolbox on top of it, and an opening for coal, and that comes out when you're driving the loco so that it's not in the way, and it sits in there for cosmetic purposes. So that's a job. There's also brakes to go on here yet. A handbrake for the tender, which operates on this side, I think, which is offside to the driver. Still working out those details. There's a crap load of stuff there. But it's coming together. It's looking all right. Fairly impressed with it. It looks like a proper locomotive yard here. I'm going to have a working handbrake on the tender, I believe. At this point, I'm going to drill the holes and put in some shafts and leave it unoperational. And I've still got to find some cast or some cast iron of some sort for brake shoes. But apart from that, it's not a crazy job to make it work. Drawings are sketchy, Maddie. Drawings for this design were 1935, so there's enough of them built to be tried and true, and it was a pretty good design to start with. There we go, we've got drawings. What we have about this work I'm working on at the moment is some dimensions that way, which don't really mean anything. They're in about 1/4 inch increments. There's dimensions for handrails. There's sort of an opening dimension there, and that's about it. The curves on the ends are sort of mentioned. And it says tender body made from 1.2mm brass sheet, also sole plate, reinforce all inside corners with 1/4 by 1/4 by 16 brass angle, and cork all seams and joins inside with Tinman solder. There you go, now you know as much as I do about it. These fancy steps are drawn on here. Only in one elevation though, so it doesn't really tell you very much. Unfortunately. There's some drawings there for the frames. And the buffers, sort of, some dimensions, so I managed to get them working. There's drawings for a pump, actual real dimensions on it. And there's drawings for feed strainer. And axle boxes. That's kind of all you get. Oh, there's another drawing somewhere with brakes layout on it, which is a bit more detailed on that. So far, it's all come together remarkably well, and whoever started this project before I got it did a pretty good job of getting most of the bits together. There are things that I've been changing and altering as we go, but yeah. There's about 350 of those screws in that tender body. If you really want to know. They're 8BA brass screws. They're only available in 1/2 inch, so you've got to shorten them all. That's the bane of my existence, really. And yeah, some of them have been shortened, some of them haven't. And all those holes are going to line up and they're all tapped through from the angle line. And I don't think I've done a real bad job at that. If you have a look at the alignment on those screws, I'm pretty happy with that, really. I'm pretty pleased with that. But there's a week's work in making that tank. It's a big job, and it's nowhere near over yet. We've still got to do something here, and then if we're going to really be prototypical, it really needs something around the edge here. And what I'm going to do, which probably isn't prototypical, but it'll do, I've got half round wire, which I don't know if you can see that. I've got a roll of half round wire here. Can we see that? Try and focus that a little bit. Not a hope, but this brass wire, I'm going to run that around the edge there, and it probably wants little rivets on it to hold it in place while we soft solder it. There's a lot of pipe fittings to go in there. There's some coupling bits. There's some brake handles and things. It's a bit of work. Plans in metric, not in 1935 from England, but I guess there are plans in metric. I think there are probably actually locomotives drawn in metric. They're probably a bit more limited. But this is how this came. The castings are actually got cast into them, Bonds of Euston Road. I like BA, especially in sheet metal work. It's really good thread for sheet metal work. I'll give it that. It's an excellent sheet metal thread, and that's really what it was designed for, is instrument and sheet metal thread. And it's good. I really like it. I really do. But you've got to have a good supplier of screws too. And if you live in America, that's kind of these little screws are here on the bench everywhere. There's another one. These are, to give you some idea when this was started. This is getting pretty heavy actually. These castings are stamped here, Bonds. And Bonds of Euston Road Modern Engineering Suppliers went out of business. Someone's going to Google this on me. But I don't think they were running much past the 60s. So some point between 1935 when this was serialised. And you've got to remember that when this was serialised in Modern Engineering in 1935, this was a current, like, it was a working model of a current railway locomotive that was on the rails in England. There you go, 1973, Craig says. But was in 1935, this was basically a working model of a locomotive that was kind of cutting edge technology. And there's been a lot of them built, and it's a pretty good passenger hauler. So, hey Dennis, good to see you. But it's a colossal amount of work, guys. Just if you're going to build one, if you've got on your list of wanting to build one when you retire, don't wait. Just start now. Get in and buy some bits and start. Get some frames up, get some wheels on it, get some valve gear on it, get some cylinders on it, get a boiler on it, and get it done. And if you leave it till you retire, you'll do what happened with this guy, who probably started early too. These castings would have been brought probably from the UK when this guy immigrated. And he did a bit as he went and got this to this stage, sort of. All the bits were together. I've gone through and I've quartered all the wheels properly. I've set up the valves properly. I've modified and improved some clearances so that the thing doesn't bind anywhere, and got it running on compressed air pretty nice. Yeah, there are days when you can't stand there, look at it. These 10BA, 8BA brass screws are starting to get to that point. I'm telling myself that there's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to go in, really. And I've got to pull it apart and tap about another 20 holes and put it back together. And probably we're done, but I keep telling myself that. David says build the boiler first. Isn't a bad idea, to be honest. If you've built a boiler, then you've probably got the scary bit out of the way, and you'll probably never finish the rest anyway, but someone will have a boiler. The trouble here in Australia, well, it's not even a trouble, it's the way things are here in Australia. So we have a cutting edge boiler code that the rest of the world uses, and it tends to be pretty strongly policed amongst clubs. And the thing is, if you've got a code boiler that's inspected and okayed by a club, then any club in Australia nearly will let you run that locomotive at their track, which is fantastic. It doesn't really work like that in America. And also, if you've got an Australian code boiler, well, you'd probably run in most tracks in the UK too if it got there. So the thing is, there's quite a in-depth boiler code with details and specifications of what you can and can't do. And this boiler was designed in 1935, and things have changed, and people who have experienced have dictated that some things that are on this boiler are not particularly safe. So things like fitting screws straight into the back head and things like that, they need bushes. So it's been updated. So we've got to do that. But Dan, you're coming to set these valves when we get it steamed. That's where we're at with it. We'll invite you up for the weekend and you can set it up. So I would like to travel with this locomotive a bit, and I certainly would like to travel with it, and I'd like to build a smaller one that'd be better for travelling. But honestly, it's a long way to go, and there's a boiler. And I sat down at EJ Winter's website and roughed out a shopping list and put it all in a shopping cart. And it come to about 780, something like that. It's over 700 Australian dollars for the boiler materials. So that's before you even start, and it doesn't include gas. So it's a big job, and there's a lot of... I'd have to actually buy beer if you come up, because I don't have any. You can drink Dan's, but that means a fight. So there we go. But I have made it a little bit easier. I actually pulled these valve covers off and put these two plugs in here, because you can't actually see the valves on this thing. You've got to assemble it without the valve covers and then take it apart and reassemble it with marked and put it back together to set the valves. So now it's got two plugs in the top there, and you can actually see the valves when you set them. So that's kind of nice. I think that's an improvement that should have been on the original drawing. So there we go. This is... valve gear events are mostly right and equal and everything else, I think. There's still got to be an eccentric that goes on the front pump there. There's still a lot of fittings. There's a boiler. There's a lot of bits to go on this. Like seriously, there's another solid 12 months work just on that bit if I've got unlimited budget. And on this bit here, there's probably another month to get it somewhere near finished. We'll see how we go with that. See how it looks in a month, and then we might go and do something else. So that's the projects. The project roundup for this week. Did shoot some video about the laser cutter, so there will be a more in-depth video about it and some more information and what I did here and there and what I used and what actually works and what doesn't. So it might be a bit sort of electronic and technical, or it might not, to be honest, because I'm not very good at that. Saw Quinn's comment, Paul, about that, which is a bit rough, but don't know, I hope I'm not at that sort of level of silver solder. I probably should make a silver solder video, honestly. It's something I procrastinated because I thought, well, who really wants, everyone can silver solder, but probably they can't. There's several people I've noticed recently who have had real problems with silver solder. One of them was Chuck Bomarito, and yeah, maybe I might make a silver solder video at some point when I've got a day off. Russ Knox, right, put me down for that. It's not really a bit of an art. It's temperature and cleanliness and a couple of basic ground rules. Silver soldering is not that difficult. You want to know when to apply the silver, and you want to know where to apply the flux. You want to know what shape joint you want to start with, and you want to know how hot to get everything. Most of those things are tied together with the flux, so it's not that difficult. Hey, Stephen. So honestly, silver solder, it's really not that difficult. And silver soldering steel is different to silver soldering copper. There's a headspace that's different about it. Probably mostly in that you get copper and brass kind of translucent red before it's at the right temperature, and steel you don't, because it melts at a different temperature. So there's a bit of a headspace about that you've got to get your head around. But as far as copper silver solder, it's lots of heat and a big bushy flame and flux on the right spots and not too many impurities in your flux. By impurities, I mean you don't want bits of dirt and sand and bumps and things. That's kind of, you don't want anything that's going to stop the solder flowing. But it's just a matter of heating it to the right temperature and either dropping some solder on or having solder in there already. This is oxypropane is probably the way to go, to be honest. Nigel, you're probably right. You want something that'll heat. I mean, the thing too about a brass or a copper boiler is that you've got to get the whole thing to a nearly uniform heat before it's hot enough to take solder, because it transfers the heat so well. It's so conductive. So you need big bushy flame. This is silver soldered the other day. This isn't too bad. They're not bad sort of joints around there. It all went all the way around. There's not too many holes in it. There's a bit of a pinhole there, but we're going to undercoat and paint that. This one's pretty nice. This is a bit dry, this joint here. I don't know if you can see that. But this flowed around here pretty nice. And we've got good joints around the inside where I've soldered those pieces in. This is just a piece of brass that sits on top here, pushed in, and it's got a fillet around here. I don't know if you can see that. And this one here is the same. It's got a fillet around the inside to hold that in place. So I'm looking for oxypropane gear before we start a boiler. I'm going to need something to put some heat into this thing. It's fairly big. I think finished the freight quote I had on the bits, or the freight quote on the kit from AJ Reeves in Birmingham, or wherever they are now, was for about 5 kilograms. So I'm guessing that it's probably 4 or 5 kilos finished, and there's a fair bit of copper to heat up. Anyway, Rust and Ox, you start something, we'll go there. It's the 18th. Did anyone remember it was 18th? That means in 3 days there's going to be an announcement video. Just shoot me now. I haven't even thought about it. Seriously, I'm probably going to sit down tomorrow night and do it. You're looking at me, Rust and Ox. You're the better person. 3 days announcement. Yeah, it's on its way. We'll say it's on its way. It's not actually on its way. I'm probably going to sit down and shoot this tomorrow night. I'm completely and utterly unorganised for it. I apologise. Geez Louise, that crept up quick. But anyway, Toolfest 2021 is coming. Announcement won't be far away. Expect it soon. How did it become the 18th already? What happened to the last 3 weeks? Where'd they go? I can't handle this. I'm panicking. See, that's how quick it goes. Another 3 months and it'll be over. So get your crap together. Get a project sorted. Get something you're going to do. I better do some organising. That's it. Live stream's over. We better go and fix it. No, anyway. The last 3 weeks, I spent in my workshop fixing this locomotive tender, basically. That's where we're at with that. And doing other projects. So, there we go. Bill still hasn't recovered from Beerfest 86. Yeah, that was a tough one. Gosh, I would have been. Yeah, anyway, it's a long time ago. So, Rust and Ox. If you've got an idea, I'll help. Put it that way. Have contacts. We'll write to people. So, if you need a hand, let me know. If you've got an idea that you want to put out there and let someone else to do, because I know that life's pretty crazy for you too. do that too. Let us know. Yeah, forget about a laser cutter video this week. Okay, let's do this. Rust Knox, let's do it. That sounds exciting. Everyone go and subscribe to Rust Knox's channel, because there's going to be cool things coming out of there. There is anyway. There's some really awesome things that he does. This week's video, not giving away any spoilers, but this week's video was fantastic. It's sensational, Rust Knox. And I guess the comments were full of people telling you that. But yeah, I think it takes a special kind of guy to do something like that, and we really appreciate it here in Australia. Boxes from the auction, that sounds good. So that's where we're at. Panic, total panic happening here. Total panic. Not much views. It's strange because I really enjoyed that video, and I'm going to say now that anyone who's watching this should go and watch it if you haven't already, because it was a good video. And nice bit of workshop, bit of blacksmithing and forging there too. Was pretty good video, and it was respectful, and it was, I just. Yeah, they say Belgium's a land of giants, eh? But yeah, watch it again if you haven't. Watch it again. Geez Louise. 3 days to get a video out with an announcement. I've got everything worked out, and I've got some notes. I've just got to read them out on camera, I guess. Now I'm panicking. Help, 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 help. Golly. Take the rest of the week off. I wish I could. I'm working 5 days this week. That's a bit hard. Looks like tomorrow night's probably video shoot night. Thanks for that, Craig. Yeah, we can do this. We can do it. Yeah, just watch it next. Delete Discord and I'll be fine. Yeah. Delete Discord and YouTube and no one will ever remember. And no one will chase me for it. Those guys kind of egg me on. So where do we go from here? I guess in the words of the great man, just go for it. Probably need a bit of paper put up somewhere with "go for it" written on it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we've done that. There you go. So we can do this. Geez. Anyway, there's no progress on anything else, right? There's no progress on any other projects, really. Uh, the laser cutter, after tearing my hair out with the electronics and the software and board pinouts and things like that are all brand new to me, it actually sort of works. So I'm pretty happy with that. Um, yeah, the floor's sometimes a shelf. Around here, it's sometimes a shelf, and it's really not good, but we're working on it. Anyway, I'm probably going to leave this alone for the rest of the week, because I had plans to sort of have this done before we have all these screws in before the weekend. But I'm going to leave that alone. I've got some projects to do, some videos to make, stuff to do. We'll see how we go. But the 21st is the big day. So is that right? The 21st? 23rd. When was the date? Can someone refresh when the release date was? I could look that up. But I haven't. I think it's the 21st. Is that right? I'm sure you all know. I'll have a look before I go. But this week, anyway, expect a video on that, because it's going to be pretty cool, I think. Pretty excited about that, really. And I've got projects. One project in particular, which might actually make it to the Toolfest thing, is something you've never seen before. '24th of November. So yeah, we got the 24th of this month. So what's today's? The 18th, 19th, 20th. Tomorrow's the 19th, Thursday. The 20th is Friday. The 21st is Saturday. The 22nd is Sunday. 23rd is Monday. Let's call it Monday release. Let's call it Monday release now. Let's do that. And that gives me Sunday to edit. So we can get something sorted. It will be sort of like TMC. It's sort of like TMC. Yes, Maddie. Got it sort of sussed out. It's going to be, there's not going to be a competition, but there will be, let's say that this year we're going to ditch the competition because mail and COVID and all that sort of stuff, and no one actually having any money. And there's been some amazing people who have offered to support TMC, but I really feel like I'm probably leaning on them a bit heavy. So at this point, we're going to combine Tip Blitz 19, which we had, and Toolfest 2021, which is, but there will be some details released in the next few days. Probably be Monday, but we'll see. It's Wednesday already, so I better do something about it anyway. If I got it up and ready. I had every intention of doing it last weekend and never got there. Forgot all about it. Anyway, enough excuses. I expect that there'll be enough excuses made on everyone else's behalf for not actually entering. But I'm pumped about it, and I've got a project, I think. I've got a project, yeah. No rules. Not many rules. I think there's one rule. Probably two rules. But they're not particularly limiting rules at all. One of them is you've got to use the hashtag, and two of them you've got to release at a certain point. But anyway, they're all things that you can handle. Stuart says there might be three, but anyway, they're not particularly demanding. You're just going to make yourself a tool and make yourself a video and push yourself, push your capabilities as far as your workshop and your video editing and everything else. Get a good video out there that's going to get you subscriptions and will get you some viewers, I hope. That's where I'm at. And number 3 is have fun. Yeah. So get yourself a video that people are going to subscribe to. That's what it's all about. And release it at a point that we can say, hey, look, here's some views. And hopefully channels will get a bit of a boost. That's what I'm at with it. What else? Not sure. Yeah, that's probably about it. Video is not length restricted, but yeah, you'll get more views on something that's 10 to 15 minutes. I think the short space is probably 8 to 12 minutes myself. That's the sweet spot, but it depends on your video. But something that holds people's attention and makes people say, hey, I like this channel. That's where we're at. You be the judge of that. You can put, I'm not going to sit down and watch them all. There's going to be some that sneak through the cracks. So it's not like TMC. I'm not going to watch everything. Well, probably I will. If you make a good video, I'll watch it for sure. But make a video that makes everyone want to watch it, and then it'll get views for sure. Anyway, can't wait to hear from Russ Knox either. And down for that. And poor guy. I feel sorry for you. And I hope you've all got your tool making projects all sorted out, because there's going to be some cool stuff. But yeah, making videos isn't easy. That's right. Some people have the gift, like Russ Knox. Some of us don't, like me. But there you go. Really, probably, if we can pinch the slogan, that should be it. But yeah, Peter watched paint dry. That's all right. So make something that's useful, and make something that you're going to use, something that's going to turn out okay, something that's within your capabilities. We don't want to see videos with optical comparators and auto culminators and various scientific apparatus that are never ever going to get finished, and you're going to see the first 3 parts of it and that's it, because that's happened in the past. Just make a video, a cool tool making video on something that you want to make, and hone your video skills and hone your workshop skills and your finish skills, and get something at the end that makes us go, wow. You've got to show us a completed job. That's one of the rules. Anyway, teleport machines are fine, Bill. Go for it. Absolutely want to see that one. If you can make one, we're absolutely down for watching the video. We've seen transmogrifiers. I don't think we've seen time travel, but we've certainly seen some weird stuff in the tool making competition. And pretty much it all kind of goes. If you can make an entertaining, cool video about a tool you've made with big information about your awesome skill sets, then you've got it in the bag. But no prizes. So sorry about that, but we'll try and get everyone some subscriptions. Anyway, that's where we're down. We've about had enough here. I'm still reeling from shock that it's the 18th of the month. And really appreciate you guys tuning in, spending a bit of time in the workshop with me. I don't really think that there's a whole lot to actually see as far as progress. I know that there's about another 100 more screws in that than there was last time you saw it. You can't see them. And I know that there's a lot of hours in the laser cutter trying to work it out, but now you can't see them either, so anyway. Rustnox has a point. Time travel is difficult to film. Please bear that in mind. It is a tricky thing, really. But yeah, I'm sure someone will work it out. Anyway, I'm out. Going to say thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any of these guys here, right? Any of these guys who are commenting here, and you're all just the regular guys this week, but any of you have awesome channels that you should subscribe to. Absolutely. Click on one of them and move over and watch some videos tonight. Do that for me. Anyway, I'm out. Take care, and more soon, and expect an announcement video before next week. We'll see ya.